So we are going with the subject of machine design here. Okay, so I hope your gate preparation is going on very well. So if you have started your preparation, definitely your preparation should be consisting of solving the previous gate questions along with listening of lectures, and then you should do test series. If any of you haven't started doing test series, at least chapter test and subject test, then you should start by now. If you are not taking up test series, then your preparation is always incomplete. So kindly remember this thing here. So along with the listening of lectures, previous gate questions, you should start giving test series. And by December 15, after December 15, so you should be starting giving full-length papers and R&M mock test series. R&M mock test series are being released every month, like from this month itself. I think AMTS one is got released already. You can check in your check in your LMS through using your login credentials. Okay, so but you have to complete the whole syllabus to start those AMTS. Okay, because they're all full-length papers. So what you can do is you make sure to complete your syllabus by December 15th, and from December 15th you start giving those full-length papers. So maybe we'll be meeting again for other subject, or maybe not. So I'm letting you people know, to know about this thing now itself. Okay. Yeah, Saurabh Kumar was telling that, so still waiting for exercise book there. Saurabh Kumar, so we tried our level best to release exercise book for this year, but we have, due to some constraints and problems, we are unable to release for this particular year exercise book. Okay, so it's still like we have to go with the making of many of the books for few subjects. That's the reason why we are unable to release the book there. So anyways, so we are near to the gate examination. I mean 6 months, 8 months at maximum. So you people, if you are going without the exercise book, still that will work. Okay, so don't worry about that one. Now, so I was telling about these test series here. Okay, so no doubts in the chat box. Okay then. So we are going with the subject of machine design, and I hope you people know that our gate paper will be having 3 sections. So core subject will be having marks of around 70 to 72, and general aptitude will be having 15 marks, and maths will be varying from 13 to 15 marks there. So I hope you people know that like what is the importance of each and every section. So I hope that you people know that general aptitude should not be neglected. Okay, so whatever the general aptitude lecture is there, you listen to the lecture seriously. Going through a whole book of general aptitude is very difficult, so you better listen to the lecture and complete your content preparation from the lecture itself. And you can do the previous year questions and all to do the practice. Like that you can do it. Because general aptitude is a very huge section. Okay, so if you go for CAT examination, it is a different level. If you go for banking examination, it is a different level. So it's going to vary from exam to exam. So if you are preparing for GATE, then you should be preparing at some level or in particular way which you can understand from your content lectures or lectures by your faculty. So don't think about completing a whole book and wasting your time. So it will never happen. So try to go with the lectures properly and don't neglect general aptitude. So next thing, I hope you people know that maths is the most important subject. So engineering maths is already done for most of the people. For those people who have joined after summer, maths is not over, might be. So we'll be conducting that particular lecture as well. So you don't need to worry about that one. So now coming to the core subjects, I hope everybody know that like we have 70 to 72 marks, and we have different subjects having different weightages. So I hope whatever the subjects are completed till now, you had done your preparation. Again, I'm telling you, your preparation for a subject should be consisting of solving previous gate questions along with the lecture videos. After that, lecture videos means understanding the concepts. Then you have to go with test series. Okay, so test series before December 15th, you should be completing chapter test and subject test of every subject. And then after December 15th, you should be giving full-length papers and R&M mock test series. Okay, if you are a mechanical engineering guy, please remember this thing. You can write down this data also, which going to be proved, which is going to be true in the coming future, coming days. If you are going with only previous gate questions and you are not at all touching any test series, then your rank will not go beyond 15,000. Your rank will be greater than 15,000 if you are going with only full-length papers. Sorry, only previous gate questions. That means you are listening to the lecture and just going through previous gate questions. Then you are not doing any test series, nothing like that. Then your rank will be greater than 15,000. If you are completing chapter test and subject test, but not any full-length paper, you are not touching any full-length paper, your rank will be in this range here. That means it will not go beyond 10,000. Beyond in the sense like in above category, like your rank will be greater than 10,000 if you are going with only this particular chapter test and subject test along with the previous gate questions. Okay. So I'll write down like this. So only previous year questions. Okay. So this is previous year questions plus chapter test plus subject test. If you are doing till here, then only it will happen. Understand? Now, next one is from 5,000 to 10,000. That means you can expect till greater than 5,000 you will get. That means still this 10,000 here. If you are going with full-length papers, that means this thing plus full-length papers. Okay. Understand? Now, if you want to have a rank less than 5,000, I am talking in a general sense here. General sense in the sense like I am not talking with respect to a student who is very sharp. Okay, so just by listening to the lectures, he can get all in the rank 1. I am not talking about super talented students here. I am talking in a general sense here, taking an average student here. Okay, so whoever is listening to this lecture, you can relate to this thing. You should be taking this particular data very, very seriously here to understand whether you are doing your preparation in a correct way or not. So what to be done to have a rank which is a valid rank? Just imagine you're having a rank more than 5,000. You might not be getting a good NIT also, right? So again you have to drop or you have to try for the next coming exams like ISRO, other companies examinations like that. So you have a best rank or a rank below 5,000, that is AR1 to 5,000. Your preparation should include revision. Understand? So to have a rank, you should do revision. Okay, so this is the thing which many it is the thing which differentiates or separates topper from a normal person, or a person who is having a rank below 5,000 and a person who is having a rank above 5,000 there. Understand? So how your preparation should be. So you have to do all these things to have a good gate rank, clear. So whenever you study a subject, go through your previous gate questions and complete chapter test and subject test. So once you complete the subject test, that means your preparation for that particular subject is completed. Then you go to the next subject. Understand? Then you go to the next subject. So for every subject, you complete the chapter test, subject test along with the previous gate questions. So this should be done by December 15th. Understand? So sometimes you may face problem. If you have joined after summer, you might be facing problem in completing the whole syllabus. Still you will be conducting the classes. So what are the subjects which are happened? One or two subjects which happened before summer will be still being conducted after December 15th as well. But don't worry, you have access to all the recorded videos. So to avoid last minute damages, last minute disturbances to happen to you, better you do is, better what you should be doing is, for those subjects, okay, so if you think that like the subject is going to be done after December 15th by us, you can go through your login credentials and see the recorded video of that one. And anyways, you have the option to ask doubts in your LMS or in your website or whatever the interface you're having in your laptop or in that particular website. So you can go to the particular option and ask a doubt with respect to faculty. You can put the doubt and your faculty will be giving you the answer. So doubts can be clarified. So you don't need to worry about that one. So you should be doing the preparation that way. And from December 15th, every day or every alternative day, you should be giving a full-length paper. So actually, we have 8 full-length papers, and we have another variety of full-length papers. We call them as All India Mock Test Series, which are actually 12. Understand? Okay, full-length papers are 8. Another type of full-length papers we call them as All India Mock Test Series, which are 12. Totally, you are having 20. Totally you are having 20 full-length papers here. The only difference is here you will be getting under rank. Here you will not be getting rank. It's just for your understanding and analyzing where you are going wrong. So here you will be getting rank and you can understand where actually you are standing. So from December 15th, every alternative day. So every alternative day. So you should give a full-length test paper. That means out of these you start with this thing. So for every alternative day you will be giving these papers. Once these papers are over, you will be going with this one here. Understand? So every alternative day you will be giving a paper. Now what you will be doing in the remaining time? The remaining time is for revision. This is a very crucial thing here. Understand? So many people, what they do is, one of the biggest mistake what the people will be doing is, when they are preparing, they go deeper into the concept, which is not even required for GATE examination. You should be very clear about the objective for which you are actually targeting. Your goal is to get a good GATE rank. When a good GATE rank will come? When a good GATE rank will come? When a good GATE rank will come when you have good number of marks. When good number of marks will come? Obviously, you should be having a concept, but GATE is not the exam which is like some civil services paper, okay, or some entrance to some higher foreign university where they're asking about the depth. Okay, so what is the composition of cast iron regarding iron and aluminium, iron and cementite up to 2 decimal places? It's not like that. Okay, so they will not be asking it at depth. So GATE is all about aptitude, how well you understand the concept and how well you can apply to the numericals and how well you can apply in your higher studies. That's what they're going to test you. So you should be doing revision. That means you will be doing 1 round of preparation. Whatever the depth of concepts your faculties will be giving, that will be more than sufficient for you people. You don't need to go beyond that one. And if your faculty is saying that study till here, beyond this is not required, it is not in GATE examination, no question will come, you should stop there. You should believe the faculty there. Many people go beyond that and do mistakes there. Understand? Clear? So you should be doing the revision. So 1 round of preparation will be done by December 15. So like I said, for people who have joined after the summer, you should be doing few subjects from recorded lectures that can help you a lot. So from December 15th, you can do revision plus this particular full-length paper here. So this revision should be done here. So what you'll be understanding is, after every full-length paper, you'll be understanding that you will be lacking or you'll be lacking confidence or depth of concept, or you'll be weak in some concept. You'll be understanding that thing. You just revise that particular concept. There is no use of going through simple concepts and again revising. Understand? So wherever you are losing marks, you can concentrate on that one. So this is the way in which you should be preparing. So what happens is, by every paper your score will be increasing, your marks will be increasing, and once you complete all these full-length papers, 8 papers, and then come to this R&M mock test series, definitely you will be staying ahead of the competition. Understand? Clear? Okay. So this thing, kindly keep this in mind here. This number can vary. This is just from my experience. When I was giving GATE examination, I have seen. Okay, so I was giving GATE examination from 2013 to 2017. So 4 years I have observed. Okay, so I have interacted with other people as well and understood that like this is where you're gonna stand based upon your level of preparation here. So I want you people to know whether you are thinking to do this level of preparation, this level of preparation, or this level of preparation, and from that you can understand where you are going to stand in future. So everybody is doing 1 year of hard work or 1.5 year of hard work, but where you are doing is going to make you stand in the competition. So be serious. Okay, so take it, make your plan in such a way that you will be here. Understand? So you will be getting a rank below 5,000 there. Okay, so you can aim for PSU, you can aim for an IIT, NIT, whatever you want, you can get it. Clear? Understood, everybody? Okay. Okay, everybody. So I hope I've given you a brief idea about how your preparation should be for the remaining months here. So I hope this is definitely going to be helpful to you. If you're taking it seriously, trust me, it's going to be helpful to you there. Understand? So many other faculties might have given their own way of plans. Okay, you can consider everything and you can make a hybrid plan and you can think about that. But one thing is common, a few things are common, like every faculty will say you have to give test series. Okay, every faculty will say give full-length papers. Every faculty will say do revision. Understand? Okay, so all these things every faculty will say. So most of the things are common itself. Okay, so let's see few queries here. I'm going one by one. How to attempt test in optimum manner? Saurabh Kumar, this answer for this question comes with practice itself. Whatever statement I say, that's a statement which will work for few people that may not work for other people. Understand? So that's the reason why I'm asking you people to give alternative. Every alternative day you have to give a full-length paper. When you're giving, automatically you understand where actually you're going wrong. So you can optimize and you'll understand, like for you, once you complete aptitude, it may be like you have to go through the whole paper and first of all answer all the questions which are very, very easy. Okay, then you come for the second round. So this way of doing will work, may work for you, may not work for other person. So you can do all these hit and trial methods in these at this particular stage whenever you are giving these full-length papers and all mock test series. So you can understand that which one will be more suiting to you, and you can definitely score well in the real GATE examination. And next doubt here. So it's very difficult to get good NIT with good subject with AR greater than 5000, because last year I faced same problem with AR 11240. Okay, Makesh Manhas. So I just given in particular way. I'm just telling it this particular greater than 5000 means I mean like AR 1 to 5000, that category here. I think this data is a little bit misleading here. So if you are doing this type of preparation, will be getting 1 to 5000. You'll be standing based upon your level of preparation here. So from 5000 to 10,000 your rank will be coming if you're going with only this level of preparation here. So from 10,000 15,000 you'll be getting this particular rank here. Understand? Just a minute. So greater than 10,000 I said. Okay, I mean to 5,000. This is greater than 15,000 here, so this will go till 15,000 here. Fine. Anyways, okay. So I'll keep this as so you can expect a rank below 5,000 if you're going with all these things here. Okay, so if you're going with this, your rank will go beyond 5,000, and okay then. I'll keep this as 10,000 here. Still, the numbers I think they're very good numbers. Okay, so you doing this particular work, if you're able to get 10,000 rank, it's a very great thing. Okay, so I should be going 15,000 only. Still, just to make this look mathematically correct, I just suggested here. So remember that you can be at any of these stages, or you can stand in at any of those stages based upon your level of preparation there. Okay. Okay, so it's a very valid question. Everybody listen properly. So he's asking that, sir, by December 15th, if you are able to complete only 7 to 9 subjects, if still we are leaving out 1 2 subjects, then how we should be preparing for the particular, how we should be targeting the GATE examination, or how we should be preparing for that one. That's what his question is. Listen here. First of all, ideally speaking, you should not leave any subject. Okay, you can leave a topic. Okay, if you think that like just in case I'm telling. Okay, so non-conventional machining in manufacturing is not important. Very less number of questions came in the few years. Let's assume like that. I'm not sure about that. You can ask your manufacturing faculty. So once you understood that this is not that much important topic, you can skip the topic, but never ever skip any subject. Understood? So you should be doing the preparation in that way. Okay, so your target now, anyways, you're in August month still, okay, and you have good amount of time. December 15th means like you have September, October, November, December, 4 months of time is there. So you do the backward planning. By December 15th, your syllabus should be completed, means like you should be doing few subjects by recorded videos there. That's the reason why we have provided those videos to you. So you do parallelly. Understand? At least by now, if you are unable to assess whether you'll be completing the syllabus or not, now at least you can assess by November 15th, right? Or at least by October 15th. Understand? So what you can do, simply you can start the recorded videos of those particular subjects, and you can make sure to complete the syllabus. Understand? So try to complete the syllabus, okay? Because you can skip the topics, okay? You do the skipping of few topics which are not easy, because when you have time, just like 4 months, you will be tempted to complete each and every topic of every subject. Okay, you will not be leaving unimportant topics. Okay, your mind will not have the tendency to do that one. But if you are thinking a little bit optimistic way, still you can manage. But anyways, whatever the method is, try to complete the syllabus by December 15. But you can skip some topics whichever are not important. Like that, you should be preparing there. Still, in the worst case scenario, I should not be telling this statement now itself, because your mind will think in that way and inculcate that thing. But still, I am letting you people know. If you think that 2 subjects are left over, okay, so from December 15th to January 31st, you have 1.5 month of time for that one, okay, you should cope up with, okay, so I have this, you should use the time which is allotted for revision and those alternative day full-length papers for this particular thing as well. So you should allocate those 45 days of time for doing these full-length papers, revision, and also the missing subjects there. Understand? So generally keep the subjects which are of least weightage at the end. Okay. So that like by any chance if you would like to miss it, Okay, so that will not be giving rise to any sort of problem. So recently, in 2018 paper at least, we understood that industrial weightage is very less. Heat transfer weight is very less. I just remember in a rough way like that. You can check the numbers there. Okay, I'm not sure about that. So you can keep the subject at the last. I can keep the subject at the last there. So by any chance, if you are missing it, so you'll be losing only 2 marks or something like that. Still 2 marks is very important, but still I'm just giving you an optimistic way here. Understood? So kindly just do the preparation in that way. Okay then. Okay, so I'm just summarizing here. So if you are preparing for the GATE examination, your preparation should be inculcating or it should be consisting of listening the lectures, previous gate questions, and then chapter test, subject test, that means test series, and then full length papers. Again, in the full length papers, you should be giving normal full length test we have, and then you have to give R&D mock test series as well. Clear? So total 20 papers are there. So this is the ideal way of preparation. And next thing what I was saying was, like, you should be completing your syllabus by December 15. So for those people who are who have joined after summer and think that like you will not be able to complete the syllabus by December 15, then you should be doing few subject preparation on your own using recorded lectures. Okay, so that in that way you can stay ahead of the competition. You have to do little bit extra amount of work. So for those people who have joined in the month of January, so mostly by October itself the syllabus will be over. Okay, so what are the subjects that were over before the month of summer, before the May month, etc. So those subjects will be repeated again. So few subjects might go beyond December 15th as well for the people who have joined after summer. So you should be managing in that way. And next thing what I said, so if you are unable to complete the syllabus, like you should, yeah, what I would like to say here is, whatever the way in which you are preparing to complete the syllabus, so please keep in mind to not skip any subject, but you can skip a topic. Okay, you can skip unimportant topics, but you should not skip any subject as a whole. But just to being optimistic, because definitely like there may be a chance that you'll be investing more amount of time on a subject which is started now, and at the end you will be left over with less amount of time. That's human tendency. So you keep the subject preparation in a decreasing order of the weightage. Okay, so mostly keep the subjects which are having lesser weightage. You can see the 2019 GATE paper analysis, 18 paper analysis also in the GATE Academy website, and you can see which subjects are having lesser weightage, like relatively lesser weightage, 2 marks, 3 marks like that, and you can keep it to the end so that you can save time. So that if you are skipping any subject, then you'll be skipping a less important subject. It is not like you are skipping a subject like SOM, you are skipping a subject like manufacturing, you are skipping a subject like fluid mechanics, you are skipping a subject like engineering mathematics. Okay, if you want to stay ahead in the competition, make sure to complete the syllabus first of all in the in ideal way in the first place. Okay, that's the thing here. So let's listen now. Don't think much. If you have any more queries, you can ask in the break or afterwards. So let's go with the flow. Okay, so let's understand the concept. Let's not disturb the flow. So try to be little fast when you're copying, or you can do some smart. You can go by some smart approaches like taking screenshots to avoid writing everything in your notes. Okay, if you're going little bit, if you're using such type of smart approaches, you can save time, and we can invest more time on solving numericals. I tried my level best to keep all the best questions, all the best and unique questions. Okay, so only the simple silly questions are left over from the previous year papers. So we'll see each and every question. We'll study in a very authentic way. That means like I'll give you time to solve the question. You go by your approach, whatever the approach, maybe right, wrong, whatever you think is right, go by your approach. Then I will give you, or I will give you the solution for that, and you can understand where actually have gone wrong. This is the ideal and authentic way of preparation. So I'm expecting everybody to do the preparation in this way. So we need time for every question. Maybe like 20 minutes, ideally speaking, for a question we will be requiring 20 minutes, understand? So 5 minutes just for only copying itself. So you'll be left over with only 15 minutes. So if you're taking screenshots and doing such type of smart approaches, using such type of smart approaches, we can save good amount of time and invest on solving numericals. So at the end of the lecture, you'll have a very good feeling that you have learned a concept. You are pretty confident about the concept. So if you see any previous year question or any new question from the particular chapter, you'll be able to solve it. You will not have the tendency that, okay, this concept I haven't read properly, let me revise it again. This feeling should not be there at the end of the lecture. That's my objective here. So we're done, everybody? Okay. So if you take any design, basically, we will be considering some factors. That means whenever in this subject we are concerned about machine design. We are not talking about textile design. We are not going to talk about building design, etc. We are concerned about machine design here. So in machine design or designing any machine like car, truck, okay, some centralized machine or anything, something you are actually designing, if it is a mechanical thing, few factors are taken into consideration. Okay, before designing itself, few factors should be taken into consideration. For example, you see the material. First of all, you have a car, okay. So you'd like to build a car. So you can make car body using aluminum frame, steel frame. You can use costly material like carbon fiber also, okay. But you should be optimistic about that. Clear? If you want to have very high strength, very less weight, you can think about using carbon fiber, right? But production of carbon fiber is very, very costly. Production of carbon fiber is very, very costly. Carbon fiber is used in aerospace applications, not even in aeronautical applications. Carbon fiber is used in aerospace applications, using in rockets and all these things, because they have to use the strength to weight ratio should be very, very high in those cases. Okay. In aircrafts, Boeing 787, that is I think we called as Dreamliner. Boeing Dreamliner, you can put in Google. That is the aircraft which is completely made with this particular, complete body is made up of this carbon fiber there. Understand? Okay. So in automobiles, BMW is using carbon fibers to make cars there. So I think the car model name is i8. Okay. So i8 car of BMW, its frame is completely made up of carbon fiber. So when you are using carbon fiber, what happens? The production cost, the cost of the product will become increased. Okay. So if you think about selling a BMW to a middle class person, middle class family, they will not purchase. So if your decision is wrong at the designing stage, your product will go wrong. Okay, you thought that like my car should be having huge amount of strength and less amount of weight, but you have increased the cost due to that one. So after making the car, you understood that you tried to make a car of 5 lakhs cost, but it became 25 lakhs. Now you can't think about selling it to the market where you thought about selling there. Again, you have to do the changes. So wherever you take a wrong decision, that causes a problem with this production line, and even at the end of the product, as well. So your decision should be completely right when you are taking this particular or doing this particular designing thing. So I hope you people have understood how you should be clear, or how much you should be clear about the designing. When you should be clear about designing when you are considering the factors here. Understand? You should be correct. You should be selecting a correct material. You should be correctly estimating about the forces that are going to be developing or that are going to be acting on the body. You should be very careful about size and shape. You should be very careful about reliability. You should be very careful about maintenance cost as well. I'll give you examples here. So anyways, regarding material, I told you, you should be very, very optimistic about that. You should be taking care of everything like cost, strength, weight and everything. And you should be taking the best optimized decision between all these three factors. Okay. So you want to have a high strength material. Okay. At the same time, you should be having less weight also. Okay. But you should be making sure that cost is not increasing very, very high. So in that way, you should be taking care of the right material. Understand? Next thing is forces. For example, you are planning to build an automobile, okay, but you are planning to build it for Indian roads, okay. Understand? So you know that like on average, if you take Indian roads, apart from highways, mostly the other roads will be having potholes. So if you are not considering them, and you are considering that like this car will be like this car is completely for highways, then a person who wants to use for both will not be able to purchase the car. So you should be very clear about forces that will be coming into existence. So you have designed the car only for highways where dynamic forces, the forces due to obstacles, speed breakers, etc. are very, very negligible. Okay, and you have designed in that way. But when the car is being used in other roads where potholes are there, it is getting damaged frequently. That will happen. So you should be very clear about estimation of forces. In the same way, coming to size and shape. So you want to build a car, okay. So your dimensions and everything should be in such a way that you should be looking like a car. So you wanted to build a car, at the end the size and shape are that much big that it's looking like a minibus. Okay, so that should not happen. You should be very clear about size and shape. Okay, and next one is reliability. Reliability in the sense like you should be going with things like warranty. Okay, you want to sell the products. Okay, so you are new into the market, but you want to build trust between the people. So what you should be doing, you should be giving warranty. Okay, you should be giving some offer, some cashback offer like that. Then only people will buy. So we the Indians are very much got used with cashback offers, reward points and all these things here. So you can definitely relate to that one. Now imagine Google Pay is Google Pay at the time when it was introduced called as TES. Okay, imagine that TES was not allowing you to earn any reward points. Okay, it's just a simple money transfer option for you. It is one of the options you have there at that time. Okay, then you will not be using it with respect to other things. Is it right or not? Yes or no? Okay, there are reward points, so that pulled the crowd. So many people every day, today even, if they want to transfer the money, they will use Google Pay first. Then they check about other options because more higher amount of reward points are given in this particular app here. Anyways, I was telling about reliability here. So my point here is reliability in the sense like your product quality should be good and you should be able to give good amount of warranty. So if you are talking in terms of mechanical products, mostly reliability is achieved by giving reliability. Higher is the reliability, higher is the warranty time you can give. That means you are very confident about your products. So higher is the reliability means you are very confident about your product that my product is of very high quality. So I can give you the warranty of 2 years. You don't need to worry. Okay, so other competitors are giving for the same product warranty of 1 year, but I will give you 2 years. So like that we will gain trust and people will take care of that. Okay, so you should be very clear about the quality of the whole product you are going to make it. Understand? So to achieve this thing, again you have to take decisions. Understand? In the same way, coming to the next one, maintenance cost. So everybody know what is the importance of maintenance cost there. So people will be judging to buy whether a petrol car or a diesel car based upon the maintenance cost itself. So if you are targeting people who are very much worried about maintenance cost, then your maintenance cost should be less for the vehicle. Understand? So for example, like if you your automobile company and you say that like I will give you free services for 3 years. Understand? So like because if you are giving free services, that means like your maintenance cost is going to be less, so people will buy your product. Understand? So other vehicles will be giving only for 1 year might be. Understand? So maintenance cost wherever you are targeting should be as much less as possible. So definitely that's going to be very, very helpful. So many people try to curtail their dreams of buying expensive things. Okay, expensive bikes, expensive cars because of the fear of maintenance cost there. You think why people wants to why people think of buying Volvo or this not Volvo, this Volkswagen cars as a secondary thing? Why people are not very much tempted to buy Volkswagen cars or even Ford cars? The reason is of maintenance cost. Instead of take a Tata car, okay, your maintenance cost will be less. Understand? Okay, so you take Skoda. So Skoda, Volkswagen, all these cars, they have a higher maintenance cost. That's the reason why you see relatively lesser number of cars of these companies as compared to the cars of other companies like Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, etc. there, even Mahindra there. Understand everybody? So if you are taking care of all these factors at the time of manufacture, at the time of designing, not manufacturing, at the time of designing itself, pre-production stage itself, then automatically you can make the product or the final product to be a very good hit. That means you can sell a lot or you will be making a very good product at the end. Understand everybody? Clear? I will give you one example. Listen carefully here, it will be very, very interesting. Recently, BMW has decided that for a few cars, they want to make the car body with carbon fiber. Okay, so car body with a carbon fiber. So car body is the structure basically. So I said that like i8 car and other models, few models are having this particular carbon fiber frame there. Okay, now one thing is very clear that carbon fiber cost is very, very high. So they understood that like to achieve this, what to be done at the designing stage itself. So then they came up with the plan that, or they understood first of all that carbon fiber product is not costly. The power required, the power means electricity required to produce this carbon fiber is very, very high. That's the reason of product. That's the reason why carbon fiber product is becoming costlier. It is not the availability of the material or anything. Carbon fiber can be produced with very, very cheaper metals like crude petroleum. Okay, so I have very rough idea about this thing. You can search internet there. So it can be produced using materials which are leftover at the time of distillation or refinery of the crude petroleum. Understand? So the materials are cheaper. Only the power generation, the power required to do the production process of carbon fiber is very, very costly. Then they came up with the idea that they built a dam for a particular lake. I'm unable to recapitulate the exact name of the lake and the place in the US there. So this BMW company people built a hydropower plant just to run this particular factory or this particular industry of this particular carbon fiber. Now they are using it. Okay. Now it will be producing at a constant rate. Now they have to sell those many number of cars. So once they achieve the sales target there, so basically they are doing mass production or more number of, they are selling the same car in more numbers. So what happens is production cost per car will become less. Like that they can overcome the cost there. So this is the decision which was done at the time of designing, not at the time of manufacturing of the car. They decided that let's go with carbon fiber, and they realized before starting the central earth mission, they understood the carbon fiber is very costly. Oh my god. Okay, so if they are taught in that way and they realize that carbon fiber is very costly, then they can never ever produce a car which is less costlier, or they will be ending up producing a car which is very, very high cost. And at the end, definitely they will not be successful in selling the car easily there, because cost is going to be very, very high. So this planning, everything should be done at the prior stages only. That is design here. Understood everybody? Clear? So to understand or to know more details about the BMW hydropower plant, all these things, you can search in internet. So it's very interesting. Like I just got shocked about their level of thinking. So about the level and also scale of thinking about production of the cars there. Okay everybody? Understood? So I hope you people have understood what is the importance of designing here. So designing is very, very important. Clear? So if your decisions are right in designing, your product going to be very, very good. So well designed product going to be very, very good product. So if the designing is not at all done in the best way, or if you haven't done the designing properly, then no matter how well you do or how well you take care during the manufacturing process, how well you put your efforts in selling the product, how well you put efforts in marketing the product, whatever you do, business terms, all these things, manufacturing and business, okay, they will not at all work there. Designing is the primary thing. You can have faults in selling, okay. So like Ratan Tata said that like why they are unable to sell Tata Nano cars at a high scale or good number. So he said that we are unable to do marketing properly. So they are unable to convince the Indian crowd that like this is the best car you have. You can think about taking every middle class family or lower middle class family, you can opt for this car. So they are unable to convince them. Understand? So you can have mistakes there, but you cannot have mistakes at the time of designing. Understood everybody? Clear? So that's the thing here. So you should be understanding what's the importance of designing here. So I hope this thing is interesting to you people. So from now we'll be going into the subject only. So we'll not be wasting much of our time. So like if you have this basic idea in future, if you're taking mechanical machine design as specialization, or if you're working in companies like BMW, Benz, like any of the good companies, okay, so you'll be understanding why they are doing in that way, why they invest that amount of money in the initial stage itself before the actual manufacturing of the process itself. This is the reason here. Okay everybody? Okay, so let's go ahead. So let's understand about the resisting body, and then let's understand about machine, and then let's understand what we are going to study about, what we are going to study actually in the subject, and then let's start the first chapter. Okay, so resisting body means what? You people might have studied the theory of machines. So what is the definition of resisting body? Theory of machines is over for you people. Theory of machines. It's not over. Theory of machines. Okay, fine. That's okay. No problem at all. So resisting body means basically, listen properly everybody. So in real scenario or in day-to-day life, we don't have rigid bodies. Okay. So we don't have rigid bodies, and but many materials act or look like a rigid body for the loads for which they are being used. For example, you take a table. Maybe you might be sitting on a table in your home. Okay. So do you see deflection of your table plank? wherever the table plank on which you kept your laptop, okay, laptop is having some load, okay, it will be applying some load on the table plank there. So with your naked eye, are you able to see the deflection of the particular plank? I'm asking. Swimmer care, forget about the term semi-rigid body. Okay, we are not talking in general sense at all. We are talking completely in the technical sense. Understand? Okay, everybody, clear? So very good, everybody. So everybody is saying that they don't see the particular deflection of the particular table. Understand? So you can say that it's a rigid body. According to the definition of rigid body, the body should not have any deformation. So you see that, like, though laptop is kept on the table plank, you see that there is no deflection. So do you think you can call that as rigid body? Do you think it can be called as rigid body? Yes or no? So to satisfy the condition of rigid body, can we call it? Yes or no? I hope everybody knows the definition of rigid body, right? So rigid body means the body which will not undergo any sort of deformation. That is the particular definition here. So you see that your table plank is not experiencing any deformation, or it's very, very negligible, so you can neglect that. So it is satisfying the condition of rigid body definition. So can we call it or not? Can you call it or not? No. The answer is no, we can't call it as rigid body, because if you clearly measure it, there will be some minute deflection. Some millimeter, nanometer deflection will be definitely there. Okay, if you are able to achieve a situation where deflection is 0, not even 0.000009, okay, so if it is exactly 0, then you can call it as rigid body. Understand? But it's not going to be possible. Okay, so what is basically the objective of understanding is, we can't call the table plank on which you are putting the laptop as a rigid body, but we can call it as a resisting body. We can call it as a resisting body means, okay, you can call it a resisting body. The definition of resisting body means the body is not a rigid body, okay, but for the loads for which it is designed, it will be acting similar to a rigid body. For the loads it is designed, that means your table plank is supposed to carry the weight of the laptop, or carry the weight of your, or hold the weight of your notebook or your pen. That's it. Okay, it is not for holding your weight and helping you to dance on the table. Understand? So for the loads for which it is designed, or for the purpose for which it has to be used, if it is showing negligible deformations, we can call it as a resisting body. Understood, everybody? So we can't call that body as a rigid body, we'll be calling it as a resisting body. Is it clear to everybody here? Understood? Okay, so please write down the definition of resisting body. So I'm just giving you the definition. So for the loads for which it is designed, it shows negligible deformation. Okay. So if anybody is listening machine design lecture from me for the second time, if this lecture is for the second time, so this is going to be again a revision. I have did many changes in this particular lecture, so definitely I advise you to listen the lecture again. 20% will be new, or at least 10% will be new, remaining 90% will be same only, but the way in which we are going to solve the questions may be a little bit again different. Understand? So I advise you to listen the lecture, don't skip it. We are going to understand that thing in first lecture today itself. Is it over, everyone? So I hope there is no problem in understanding the things written on the board here. So if anything is not clear, kindly feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask if anything is not clear. Okay, so it is not a rigid body, but for the loads for which it is designed, it shows a negligible deformation. So it looks like a rigid body itself. Understood? Okay, everyone. So wherever you see no deformation, you should be considering it to be a resisting body itself, because in real life scenario there is no real there is no real rigid body. So if you see a body, if it is not showing any deformation, that means you can consider that to be a resisting body itself. Okay. Okay. Now let's see the next definition, that is machine. So machine means basically, so I can ask you the definition of machine and you can give me some ample number of definitions from the ample number of movies. Okay, so I know what you're going to tell. So instead of just going through all those definitions and making you people to get a confusion, I'm directly giving you the actual definition here, technical definition here. So machine basically, so in mechanical engineering, or basically the objective of machine is to convert some form of energy into mechanical work. So mechanical work means desired work. For example, if you would like to run a car, okay, you would like to drive a car. So you want at the end, whatever happens inside the engine, you're expecting the wheel to rotate. So wheel is rotating means it is rotating, it is having some rotatory kinetic energy. So whatever the chemical energy of fuel is there, that will be converted to this particular energy, rotatory kinetic energy for the wheel here. Understand? So for example, you take drilling machine. So whatever the energy is coming, maybe electrical energy or maybe some chemical energy from fuel, okay, that should be coming as a mechanical energy there. So that the drill will work and do the required job, whatever we are expecting. Understand everybody? Clear? So machine means basically it converts any form of energy into mechanical work. Understand? For example, you take turbine. So turbine uses internal energy of steam. So high pressurized steam is taken from one side into the turbine, and that steam will make the turbine blades to rotate, and the rotatory kinetic energy is used to produce electrical energy. So this turbine is converting internal energy of steam into mechanical work, and a generator is converting this mechanical work to electrical energy. So that is not required for us. So machine converts any form of energy. Machine is the thing which we use to convert any form of energy into mechanical work or desired mechanical energy like rotatory kinetic energy. Okay, so in that way here. Understood? Clear everybody? So please write down the definition. You can write down. So combination of resisting bodies with successfully constant relative motions used to transform one form of energy into mechanical energy or useful work. So first of all, write down this definition so that at least the object of machine will be clear by now. Then I will tell you about this particular constrained relative motion, resisting bodies and all these things here. Copy the definition everyone. So I hope everybody have copied this resisting body definition. I am rubbing this out.